what's going on? It's David. Welcome back to the channel. As always, remember to like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell. I really appreciate it. Helps the channel grow. And we just coming in on a Sunday. Been a while since I checked in. And Stock Talk Sundays where we just sit back, chill, talk a little stock, get some stuff off our chest. Hopefully, you learn some things, some educational information here that you can, take back to your portfolio. Remember, as always, I'm not a financial advisor. Do your own research. I am not a financial advisor. We just come in and talk stocks. So yeah. So tonight, I'm not going to hold you guys long. Um, what I do want to discuss just a couple of things, right? What do we want to talk about? We want to, just take a brief look and see where the markets are at. We may take a look at. I do want to talk about a little bit about Warren Buffett, in a position I have in my portfolio that's tied to Warren Buffett. Also want to. I'm just looking at my notes here. Um, we want to do part two of our my portfolio challenge. If you've seen a previous video, I did part one of two portfolios that I have at Fidelity. So tonight we'll do part two of two additional portfolios I have. And it's just a quick portfolio challenge. We just discussed it a little bit, and then I want to do a little exercise, right, as far as building a portfolio, right? So I have a list of positions. I have a little rule that we're going to do, and we're just going to build a portfolio from scratch, right? A lot of people, I hear they don't know how to get started, don't know what to buy, don't know how to build a portfolio. So I'm going to give you my strategy of how I would build a portfolio, and we can actually do it together, right? I get you guys input, and we can build a portfolio together. So should be pretty fun. And then we'll end the show with a little accountability recap, whatever challenge you have going on, daily, weekly challenge. We're just going to recap it. For me, I have my Apple rolled to 100 shares, so I'll give you guys an update on where I'm at right now in regards to my Apple trying to get to 100 shares, right? So I'll show you guys that live and see where we at, and go from there. But let's jump right into it. Just a little recap. The Dow is at 39,131.53. S&P is at 5,088.30. And I know we hit over 5,100, came back down. NASDAQ is at 15,996.32. I know we've gone over 16K, came back down. And man, once again, the markets are jumping. Your portfolio should be jumping, if you're doing it right. So that's one of the things, I want to talk about, building a portfolio, from scratch. But if you've been investing consistently, your portfolio should be up this year, no doubt about it. So, but yeah, let's jump right into it, right? So I'm just going to share my screen, and I mentioned about Warren Buffett earlier, right? So I have a position in my account that's been doing very well since I've purchased it, and it's basically investing in Warren Buffett and his company, right? Berkshire. So we know that there's a Berkshire A and a Berkshire B. We know Berkshire A is the one that's, I think it's $600,000 a share. But that Berkshire B, something that's a lot cheaper and is very productive. So let's jump right into it here. I just want to show you how Berkshire B has performed so far this year. And I'm just going to share my screen. And do I have it here? I don't know if I have it. I thought I had it. Oh man, hold on. Oh, Let me see here. How do I not have that available? I thought I had my Berkshire, my stuff available, I guess. Don't want to cooperate with me right now. Hold on, let's see if I can find it. Bear with me. We gonna find it here. Cause I definitely want to show it to you. Let's see if it come up now. Aha. All right, here we go. Let's take a look here. And what you see here is Berkshire Hathaway Class B. This is a position in Warren Buffett's company, right? So Berkshire A, which is very expensive, but it also has a Class B, which I do have in my portfolio. And you see right here, year to date, Berkshire Hathaway Class B is up 15% so far year to date. 15%. It is doing numbers in my portfolio right now. And just to give you a comparison, the S&P so far this year is up 7%. QQQ is up 8%. VOO is up 7%. VTI is up 6.95%, which is, we'll say 7%. So S&P is up 7%. QQQ is up 8%. VOO is up 7%. VTI is up, we'll say 7%. Berkshire Hathaway, company ran by supposedly the world's greatest investor, is up 15%. So remember, I'm not a financial advisor, but this is definitely something, a position that you may want to look into. Just do some research on your end. I do have it in my portfolio. It's been doing really well in the portfolio. I'm not complaining at all. So Berkshire B is definitely been a great addition to my portfolio. So just check it out when you have a chance here. And I just want to touch on the next slide here, because I don't want to stay too long on that. Just Berkshire Hathaway Class B. I think the symbol was BRK/B. Just give it a look, check it out. Like I said, it's currently outperforming the S&P this year. It's outperforming the when I say S&P, I meant SPY, right? No. Did I read SPY? SPY, well, basically the S&P is outperforming the QQQ, outperforming VOO, outperforming VTI currently, right? Up 15% year to date, 54 points. Currently trading at 417.22. So I just want to start off with that. Put that on your radar. Just keep an eye on. You may want to put it on your watch list, something that you might want to add to your portfolio later on down the road. So now let's jump right into the portfolio challenge here. This is my portfolio battle. These are two portfolios that I have currently. And let me just make sure you guys can see and I'm not in the way. No, I'm not in the way. So these are two portfolios that I currently have in my Fidelity account, right? So you see on the left, one has 6 positions, the other one has 5 on the right. So like I did with my first portfolio challenge, what do you guys prefer portfolio 1 or portfolio 2? Personally, I have both. They've both been doing well. So portfolio 1 consists of Microsoft, Eli Lilly. I have a couple of ETFs in here: PFFA, QYLD, Divo, and then I have a yield max of GOOY, which, you know, the yield max follows Google, right? So that's portfolio number 1. Portfolio 2, you know, I like yield maxes, right? But like I said, like I said, I only like yield maxes like one per portfolio, right? I don't fill them up with those. But what I do like about the yield max, right? They follow like top positions, right? So really the only yield max I've had an issue with, I don't have it anymore, is that's the TSLY because it follows what? Tesla. Tesla has, had a downturn this year. So that was a lesson learned, and that's fine. I understand that. So, portfolio two, we're looking at AMZY, we're looking at SCHD, AMD, QQQ, and I recently just added to this portfolio Broadcom, AVGO. So Daryl says he likes portfolio two. I like them both. I like them both. I'm actually up more on portfolio one because it's more so due to longevity, right? I've had Microsoft. I have close to 15 shares of Microsoft in this account. It's 14.7 or 8 or something like that. Man, let me tell you something. Eli Lilly is a monster, man. Eli Lilly is a monster in the healthcare sector. And, I wish I had more, but it's been a monster for me ever since I purchased Eli Lilly. And then looking at these are some income positions, right? So looking at portfolio one, it's full of monthly income positions. So PFFA, QYLD, DIVO, and GOOY all pay monthly dividends. All pay monthly dividends. I'm gonna give you a rundown here. And on portfolio two, AMZY pays a monthly dividend. So, and I'm only down on one position out of these 11 positions. I'm only down on one, and that's on GOOY because Google has pulled back a little bit. So I'm down, I think, about 6% on GOOY. But I want to give you guys my most recent dividends I've received from these two positions based off my monthly dividends, right? So AMZN on February 12th, I received a dividend of $57.86. And of course, I reinvested it, which purchased me 2.554 shares. So that's $57 in passive income that was reinvested and added an additional 2.5 shares, right? So we'll see, what's the payout next month, and hopefully it can keep increasing shares. I'm doing extremely well on AMZY because Amazon is doing well. So I'm up pretty well on this position, yield max. So GOOY, I received a dividend on 2/12 of $31.19. Right, this is monthly income. It was reinvested. I purchased an additional 1.768 shares on the reinvestment. So once again, passive income, reinvested, more shares, building a portfolio. Right, it's going to keep increasing shares. Hopefully the payout stays pretty good, but to not to be able to do anything and still add an additional 1.7 shares, I'll take that. QYLD, my last dividend I received on that was on 1/30, January 30th. So I have another one coming up pretty soon. That amount was $21.84. That was also reinvested. It added an additional 1.233 shares to the portfolio. So once again, adding an additional share plus to the portfolio of QYLD. So it's pretty consistent on the payout. I'm up on the position overall. So I'm not trading in the dividend for a loss in share price, which that's always a win, right? So PFFA, last dividend payment was on 1/30. That amount was $20.98, reinvested, added an additional 1.008 shares, also up on this position. So like I said, only GOOY I'm down on, but I received a nice dividend and adding additional shares, and I'm comfortable in Google that it's going to come up. So yeah, man, like I monthly income is gold to me, right? Um, I think I like to have a strong portfolio, but I do like to add some monthly income in it as well. You do have to be careful. You don't want to get caught up in one of those dividend positions that's you losing share price just to get a dividend. You know, I've learned my lesson that way when I was trying to build portfolios based off of that. And you know, it really doesn't work. It doesn't work, honestly. So I'm going to have the yield max, but it's going to be in a portfolio that's filled with like strong positions. Like if you look at portfolio 2, SCHD, AMD has been skyrocketing since I've had it. QQQ has done well, and I just added Broadcom, but I'm in the green on that as well. So I personally like both of these portfolios. They've both been doing quite well for me, not only increasing in share price, but also in dividends as well. So that's a win-win. So you see kind of the preview of how I like to build my portfolio, right? So now we want to get into, and I did this video to come back, so you can come back to like if you know somebody who wants to get started investing, they want to know how to build a portfolio. They're not sure. Well, this next exercise is going to help them build a portfolio, right? So let's go. Let me see if here. I'm going to stop sharing here. And I'm going to go to, make sure I got me here. And this is going to be a portfolio builder. And let's see here. Let's go here, right? So this is a portfolio builder where I have over here some ETFs. I have some tech /AI /grow. I have a few healthcare positions. I have a few REITs. I have some energy, and I have some yield max. And what we're going to do is build a portfolio of 8 positions, right? We're going to build 2 portfolios, 8 positions, and you can just see it's really not hard to build a strong portfolio. And not only are you going to have strong positions, but you're also going to have dividend income as well. So here's the rules, though. Here's the rules. Hold on. Here's the rules to this strategy here. We have 8 positions. You can only take 2 ETFs, 2 tech /AI /grow, right? So 2 positions from A, 2 positions from B. We'll take 1 from C, 1 from D, 1 from E, and 1 from F. And we're going to build a position. So if I'm a new investor or you're talking to a new investor, they want to know how to build a portfolio, this is how I would do it. I wouldn't give them a bunch of penny stocks or anything like that, or a bunch of BS stocks that you hope will do well down the road. I'm gonna give you something strong to get your portfolio going in the right direction. And this is just me, right? So, and if you're looking to build, if you're taking 2 ETFs, right? Which ETFs off the list would you use to start your portfolio from here? What's going on, Lisa? Right, so the ETFs, we have FCS, SX, FX, AIX, and you can see QQQ, DGROW, SCHD, SPY, VOO, VTI, VYM, JEPI, JEPQ. So let's just say, you know, a popular one we know is VOO. We're going to build a portfolio out. And we're going to give a percentage breakdown, but let's build it out first, right? So we'll start with VOO as our first ETF. Remember, we can only select 2 ETFs, 2 of the tech AI growth column, one healthcare, one REIT, one energy, one yield max. So we got VOO here. What else would you guys think? I see nothing but home runs here. I don't think this is a lose-lose situation. And Lisa says VTI. So let's go with VTI. Remember, we're going to do 2 portfolios, right? We're not going to repeat on the next one. So let's go. Let me make sure I got this going here. All right. So we got VOO, VTI. Those are the 2 ETFs we're going to start with. Now, we got 2 positions from the Tech AI growth column that we can add here. A lot of heavy hitters right here. And this is going to be, I mean, you got your foundation here with the ETFs. Now we're going to start knocking it out the park with some growth, with some heavy hitters that's known to make some moves, make some runs. So if you had to pick 2, see Apple, Apple, Google, but maybe Meta, Nvidia. You know what's funny? I have a portfolio with Apple and Google, and I have a portfolio with Meta and Nvidia, and it's just it's just home run either way, right? So we'll go with Meta. Let me just type it in. We'll go with Meta. And we'll go Nvidia here. And if you've been watching Nvidia right now, you know it's a monster right now. So already, right, you got VOO, you got VTI, you got Meta, you got Nvidia as your first 4 positions in building a portfolio. I don't even see how you could even mess this up. I don't see how you can mess this up. But now we're going to choose one out of the healthcare, one out of the REIT, one out of energy, and one of the yield max to finish out portfolio 1. Lisa says Eli Lilly and I mean, I can't disagree. So if you got Eli Lilly, you got right, from your REIT, we know is monthly income, dividend always increasing. Then you got some energy here. Let's go with some energy and a yield max. And Lisa says it's going to go with Exxon and TSLY. I ain't gonna lie, I've been burnt on TSLY, but we think that Tesla is going to go up, which in turn TSLY is going to go up. But so if we put in Exxon and TSLY, I guarantee you have a winning portfolio right here. And if somebody asks you how to build a portfolio and you give them these 8 positions, you got a winner. So if somebody asks me how to build a portfolio, what you want to start with, let's get 2 ETFs. Let's get some tech, some growth stocks. Let's get some healthcare, REIT, energy, and a yield max. And then say, okay, well, how are you going to break this down, right? How are you going to break this down percentage-wise? How much are you going to put in your ETFs, which I think you should go heavier into the ETFs. I don't know, maybe 20 and 20, 40% ETF. I'm thinking some people may like 50, but 40%, maybe 30%. I don't know, because I still want to feed the Meta and Nvidia here. So that's kind of tough right there in regards. I hit the wrong button. I don't want to do that. That's kind of tough in regards to how it will be broken down. So let's see if we go. Let's just say we do 15% VOO, 15% VTI. Or should we do 20 and 20? Let's so we got 30% foundation, VOO, VTI. Let's say we go, I don't know. If somebody's a first timer, right, I may say 20. I may say 20% VOO, VTI. So we got 40%. You got your foundation laid, right? Then let's go, let's say 15. Oh man, this is tough. 15%. 10%. So this look at it, if it's like $100, right? You got $100 to start with. And let's say 10% here. I don't know, man. I like Eli Lilly too, so that definitely has to be fed. If you look at the year return on Eli Lilly, I'm not gonna shortchange it, right? So 70% of this portfolio, we making go 10 on out, right? 20% VO, VTI each. Let's just go 10% on out. And there you have it. A portfolio that's built 40% ETF. You're still feeding your growth, 30% Meta, 10% Meta, 10 Nvidia, 10% Eli Lilly. You got monthly income here in O, 10%, TSLY, 10%, Exxon, 10%. So we talking $100, but look, what if that was $1,000 or $5,000? I think you have something pretty solid here. Actually, I think you got a winner. I think you got a winner with this portfolio here, portfolio one. And that's kind of the strategy I use now. When I'm building my portfolio out, if I'm starting over, if I'm starting from scratch, this is kind of how I would do it. And if I show up with a portfolio of VO, VTI, Meta, Nvidia, Eli Lilly, O, Exxon, TSLY, it's going to be pretty hard to top that portfolio. I can probably almost guarantee you won't top that portfolio. And you can kind of play with the breakdown how you would like, but as far as the strength of the portfolio, I don't see anything. It's going to be hard on portfolio two, right? To kind of to match what we did here. So same break. We'll do this percentages the same, right? We'll do the percentages the same just to make it fair. Now on portfolio two, we can't repeat any of the ones from portfolio one. We still have, we can do 2 ETFs, 2 of tech, AI growth, healthcare, REIT, energy, and a yield max. So for portfolio two, how would you guys start that off? How would you start it off? Give me 2 strong ETFs. No Apple on here? I don't know. We got 2 portfolios, friends. We got 2. Maybe we can add it to the second one, right? We got Apple here in the next one. So, but you see what portfolio one? I would definitely have Apple in this portfolio too. So let's pick our ETFs first. What ETFs would you go with? We already chose VOO and VTI in the first portfolio. So portfolio two, how would you build that out? I don't see no weaknesses here. So I think whatever you choose, I think we're going to finish strong, right? This is just an example of how I would build it out. VOO, SCHD. We already used VOO on the first portfolio, Daryl. So we already got that up on the first one. But let's add in SCHD. SCHD is extremely popular. Of course, I own some SCHD. So that's going to be our first ETF right there. Give me another ETF. Y'all like JEPI, JEPQ, VYM, SPY, QQQ. I hear a lot of FX, AIX. I have that as well. What's going to be my second ETF right here? Daryl says VUG. That's on the list? I don't think that's on the list, but we can add it on here. VUG, anybody else? All right, let's go with VUG. What is VUG? I don't think I have. I know I don't have VUG. All right, so we'll go with VUG here. All right, so we got our 2 ETFs. Man, y'all, I don't know, man. I gotta have some. I don't know. I think I might roll with QQQ. No love for QQQ. No love for JEPQ. My JEPQ been rolling for me. CHD, SCHD, and VUG. Anybody else? Daryl says I like QQQM. Prez says QQQ SPY will make a faster moving car. I agree. JR the trading trucker says, what are we looking at? Just arrived. So what are we doing here? We are building out a portfolio, right? So if you're a new investor, we're building out a portfolio. We did a portfolio 1, right? Here's the rules. You can only select 2 ETFs, 2 tech, AI/grow. Then you can only do 1 healthcare, 1 REIT, 1 energy, 1 yield max. I know a lot of people don't like the yield max, but I actually think they're pretty good if you select the right one. So let me go with, I like SCHD. I have that in the portfolio. I'll have no complaints about that. But let's just say, we went VOO on the first one, right? That's kind of equivalent to going SPY. So let's do, I'm going to substitute VUG for QQQ, right? So those are going to be my 2 ETFs. Somebody comes to you, they're starting a portfolio. We want to lay the foundation with some ETFs. We want to say QQQ and SCHD. So now we got our foundation. That's going to be 40% of the portfolio. We're going to go to the next column here. I can choose 2 out of this column. We already chose Meta and NVIDIA on portfolio 1. So we're going to do 2 different ones for portfolio 2. What do you guys think? Let's see. FX. Daryl likes QQQM. I like QQQM too. I have that as well. it's in another portfolio, right? It's cheaper than QQQ. Pretty much moves, along the same with the NASDAQ. I like QQQM. In today's market, learning from mistakes, I would invest in VOO and build buying power to buy a long call and continue to learn. That's nothing wrong with that. Lisa says UHC. Microsoft and Apple on this next one. Where do I go here? Microsoft and Apple. Let's see here. I don't think you can go wrong with that. Remember, we just building out a portfolio. So now you got SCHD, you got QQQ, you got MSFT, which is Microsoft, and you got Apple. I think that's a pretty strong 4, right? To start off, a lot of tech, but high value companies is what's most important. And then we said Eli Lilly was our health on the first go around. I like UHC. I have UHC as well. Now let's go to our REITs, right? And if you name a REIT, I just put 4 REITs. We already use O. So if it's a REIT out there that you like that you don't see on the list, let me know. Apple, Microsoft, USC. We did have Exxon on the first list. Give me a REIT. Give me a REIT besides O. I just put a few of them on here. Or we got Maine, okay. BDX Healthcare. I gotta look into BDX. So I have Maine in my Robinhood account, and Maine has been doing very well for me. So Maine is also monthly income, but also Maine has done very well in its stock price, right? So I'm up on the position since I've had it, and it pays me every single month. So I'm a fan of Maine. A lot of people love O. I love Maine just as much as I love Oath. So here we are. We had SCHD, we had QQQ, Microsoft, Apple, UHC, Maine, Energy, right? And I just put 4 up here. We used Exxon on the first one. I just used 4. It's a lot of energy stocks out there. Give me another energy stock. We use Exxon already. Remember, we just building out a portfolio right here. I'm gonna put BDX on my watch list, Prez, because I'm gonna check it out. I'm gonna check it out and do some research on it. What we got for energy? I'm gonna tell you, Oxy has done really well, really well. Let me see here. So I'm gonna go with. Actually, right. And I know I put ETFs over here, but you see I got some XLK because I know it's focused around tech. But I will go here if I wanted to invest in energy. I will go with the ETF XLE, right? So now we got SCHD, we got QQQ, Microsoft, Apple, UHC, Maine, XLE for my energy. And now I'm gonna top it off with a yield max. And like I say, everybody don't like yield maxes or the high yield dividend. That's fine. For me personally, I've only had a bad experience with TSLY because Tesla has gone down this year, and I didn't want to hold it until it came back up. I'm a little down on my GOY, but slightly, right? Because Google is going down just for a little bit. I expect Google to take off down the road, and I'm getting a great monthly dividend, which I explained earlier in the video from GOY. So if we use TSLY, which is very risky on the first portfolio, but I'm gonna tell you one that I've been doing well on, and it is AMZY, and this is the yield max that follows Amazon, right? So now I built out 2 portfolios right here. So if a new investor comes to me asking me how to build a portfolio, this is kind of how the strategy I would take for them to start their portfolio, right? You don't need a lot of positions, right? I like 8 to 10 max, but I got positions with 5 or 6. This one has 8, right? If you had to choose between portfolio 1 here and portfolio 2, which one would you choose? You say AMZY, that's what I chose, AMZY. I love AMZY. I love it. I'm not gonna lie, especially with Amazon going up. It's done really well for me, really well, and it pays a great monthly dividend for me. So I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of AMZY. That's just me, though. That's just me. So we've built out a portfolio, 2 portfolios here. We have a breakdown, right? 40%. You might want to do 50 or 60% into your main ETFs. Some people don't like stocks, and that's perfectly fine. Some people don't know how to choose ETFs. That's perfectly fine. I want to have a portfolio that has stocks, ETFs, and some high level companies in healthcare, REITs, energy, and monthly dividend. That's just my personal preference, right? But most importantly, you want to have top-notch companies. If you have a top-notch company, your portfolio is filled with top-notch positions, you're going to win in the long run. Like I'm not a big swing trader or anything. I'm learning options. I'm learning how to trade a little bit. But for me, my focus, my strong point is building long-term positions, right? I've held Amazon and Google since 2016 and Apple, right? So I'm up 400% on Amazon and Google, over 100 shares of each, doing cover calls on them, which can be up and down sometimes. But hey, that's just that's just learning as you go. working on getting to 100 shares of Apple, which I'll show that in a second. And yeah, so for me, long term is the key, and anything you can build off of that is, you know, extra sauce on top. So that's, like I said, that's a strong point for me, is building out a long-term position, a long-term portfolio. And like I said, this was a little exercise to show you how I would go about building those long-term positions. So let me know what you think. Portfolio 1, portfolio 2. You see any weaknesses in portfolio 1? Do you see any weaknesses in portfolio 2? Remember, if you holding this long term, what is $100, what is 1,000, 5,000, 10,000? If you put 10,000 in this account, broken down percentage wise, or if you want to make adjustments, do you feel comfortable putting 10K into these positions? Do you feel comfortable putting 10K into these positions, or 5K? I feel pretty comfortable. I don't have to, you know, veer too far off. I talked about BRKB at the beginning of the video. It's up 15% year to date. It's outperforming VOO, VTI, the SPY, QQQ, and all that. So BRK/B has been doing really well in my portfolio. So I also have SMH. SMH is doing really well. I have NVIDIA. I have AMD. We know that those are doing really well. So any position that I would choose from this to start my portfolio, I'm confident long term that it's going to do well. So I want to have safe positions, but I want to have positions that's, like you said, I want to have that fast moving car as well, long as it's on the safe side. You know, long as it's not a BS stock or overnight stock just moving off of, you know, some news or something like that. You know, so that's just me. But yeah, I just wanted to touch on that. You know, if you want to build a portfolio, that's how I would build it out. That would be my strategy to how I build out a portfolio. There's no right or wrong, but it's worked really well. My long-term positions are they're just killing it right now. And once I really put the option game on top of the long-term game, you know, it's going to take me to another level. Another level. Prez says for a small portfolio, I would do 2 ETFs, 30% each, then tech, healthcare, 1 at 10% each. Yep, that'll be perfect as well. I agree with that as well. Yep, I agree with it as well. So to end this video, I like to, you know, end off with the accountability. Right, this is the accountability for me. I'm looking to get to 100 shares of Apple. So I started a challenge for myself. I know a lot of people have daily challenges, weekly challenges that they invest. So, you know, you want to stay on top of your investing. You want to be consistent with it. And that's how you want to reach your goals in the long run. So for me, I'm trying to get to 100 shares of Apple. So I'm just going to give a quick recap of where I'm at right now. And let's just take a look here. So here we are, right? So you see Apple roll to 100 shares. At the beginning of this challenge, I was at 91.357 shares. And we started this particular challenge right before the new year, 12/27/2023, right? And you see the dollar purchase, you see the share purchase, and you see the update on the shares. So right now, last week, I think I did one purchase into Apple for the $15 purchase, but technically $14.98. It bought me 0.082 shares. So right now, I currently have 93.475 shares of Apple. Trying to get to 100 shares. So we had 93.475 of Apple. And you see the prior week on the 16th, I bought $14.97. On the 15th, it was a dividend, right? We had a $22.30 dividend that we reinvested, which purchased 0.121 shares of Apple. So right now, we currently have 93.475 shares of Apple. Since we started this challenge, we've we've hit 2.118 shares. And so if you just add up all the purchases here, it adds up to 2.118, which you have right here. Total dollar amount we put in the challenge so far in 2 months is $397.70. So just adding everything up here, $397.70. And that is an update on the Apple road to 100 shares. So whatever investing challenge that you have, I hope you guys are keeping up with it, staying consistent with it. Lisa said she's at 53 shares of Apple. So yeah, just keep pushing. We're gonna keep this thing rolling till we get all the way to 100 shares and beyond. Of course, when we get to 100 shares, we're gonna do cover calls and we're gonna create more income for ourselves. So that's the goal. That's the goal, because I want to get to 100 shares of Apple. So I also have Tesla in this account, and I don't have a lot of shares of Tesla. So I want to use some of the Apple income from the cover calls to start buying Tesla long term. So that's kind of my goal. So I have Amazon and Google that I'm doing cover calls on now. Apple, I'm trying to get to 100 shares. It's not cheap. It's not cheap. So we're going to get there. We're going to get there. So that's when we do the investing challenges, whether it's you're investing in VOO or VTI or whatever the case may be. Like, stay on top of your daily challenges, stay on top of your weekly challenges, your monthly challenges. Motivate yourself to stay on top of these challenges. You're going to look up 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months down the road, and you're going to see your portfolio, going crazy, man, taking off, just because you stay consistent, with what you're doing. So that's kind of what helped me, help me take off my portfolio, holding long term, but staying consistent in my investing. I had set amount when I get paid, goes right in. I don't even think about it, right? It's just almost like a bill, right? It has to be done. Like, investing has to be done for you to get to where you want to get to. It has to be done. So, yep. And press it and say, I wish I could have bought more. But hey, keep buying now, and when it's 5 years down the road, it's going to look great, right? So I'm still buying Apple. My cost basis on Apple is probably about $91 or $92. It goes up every time I purchase more, but that's fine. That, I'm not going to stop buying just because I take a little hit on the cost basis. I want as many shares as possible. 15, 20 years down the road, it's all going to look great in the long run. So I'm not worrying about taking a little hit on cost basis right now. So yeah, man. Yeah, for me, investment comes before bills, but never beyond my means. That's right. You got to invest in yourself first. Invest in yourself first. Budget for your investing. $5, $10, $15, $20, your 401k. I'm hearing people say, "Oh, we don't need a 401k." Man, that's the easiest money, that you can have. And I've said this before, like my 401k is what really got me into investing, like being able to put chunks at one time when I left my job, instead of rolling that 401k over to the next job, I took that 401k and rolled into the IRA, and that allowed me to buy at the time 10 shares of Google, 10 shares of Amazon, and however many shares of Apple and Meta at the time. That since grown and grown and grown. You have stock splits and this, that, and nature. That's happened over time, and before you know it, you look up, you got 100 shares of this, 100 shares of that, almost 100 shares of Apple, and it just started from there. And, along with being consistent. So, yeah, next thing you know, you'll create a side hustle just to be able to invest more. And I'm gonna be honest with you, like, I've done Instacart and stuff like that, and I was using Instacart to pay down bills so I can invest more. I was so addicted to investing that I knew I had to get some of these bills out the way so I can invest more. You know what I mean? And I didn't even know what I was doing at the time. Right? All I really knew was Google, Apple, Amazon. Now that I've kind of put together a strategy, I just know I need more money to put towards these accounts that's going to just take off in the long run. So, that's it's an addiction, man. Uh, Investing is an addiction to me. I'm not gonna lie. I'm constantly looking for more ways, more things I can do to invest in myself. And but this Apple challenge, we're gonna get there. Like I said, sometimes it's gonna be small, sometimes it's gonna be more. You see $100 here, but it all adds up. It all adds up. And I've added 2 shares from 91.357 to 93.45. I'm sorry, 93.475 now. It all adds up. So over the next month or two, I'm gonna be looking to get to 3 shares, 4 shares, 5 shares, and before I know it, I'm gonna have 100 shares of Apple. I may come across a large sum of money, and I'll be right there at 100 shares. So, but it wouldn't have gotten to that point if I just hadn't started that challenge, right? So last year I had a VOO and SCHD challenge, and I made it difficult, right? I didn't even get through the whole year with the challenge, but when I looked up, I had over 10 shares of VOO. I have like 30 shares or something with SCHD just starting from scratch. So that helped build that portfolio. The VOO 10 shares wasn't from scratch, but I did add, I think, 3 or 4 shares of VOO last year just from doing the challenge. So you know how expensive VOO is. So but yeah, man. Yeah. So yeah, like Prez say, we stock junkies. Look at us. Market isn't even open today, but we are plotting. So yeah, man. Yeah, I'm looking to see what type of options I can jump in. Because options is a whole nother mindset. Trading is a whole different mindset. Discipline and things like that. Like I've been doing well in my Robinhood, and I'm looking to expound on my E-Trade account. I want to start trading SPX, and it's crazy, man. You had to put on a different hat for that. Like Prez said earlier, you got to put on your trading hat, and you just got to think totally different when you're doing trading. So that's a challenge. It is a challenge, but I'm looking to take on that challenge. But first, my foundation was the long-term portfolio. Right? If I don't have anything else, I'm gonna have the long-term portfolio. Right. So, just to be transparent, when the market went down in 2022, my portfolio took a hit of like 30K in 2022. Right. So I didn't get down. I kept investing. On some of the stuff I doubled down and I started learning different. It made me start investing in the right positions, right? I knew I was too tech heavy. I knew I had too much Amazon, too much Google. I didn't sell them, but I know when I start building portfolios now that it's not going to be heavily invested on those 2 or 3 companies and Apple as well. So now I've learned how to build up ETFs and other positions so that their portfolio is not just focused on 2 or 3 positions. So it took a while to learn that. You see hits in your portfolio, and man, it's paying off big time because I've made that money back plus, since that time frame. So, and it's been all about investing in the right position. So, yep. I have a saying for the difference between investing and trading, but it's inappropriate for the chat. But yeah, it's definitely different. But yeah, man, that's all I want to touch on with you guys tonight. Appreciate you guys jumping in and chatting with me. It's it's Sunday. It's just Sunday stock talk, man. We just get in here, we chit chat a little bit, and this is what we like to do. We like to talk stocks, man. I like listening to a lot of the other podcasts and just gaining that information. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. Remember, I'm not a financial advisor. Do your own research, but if you're not investing, invest. If you want to reference somebody to how to build a portfolio, shoot them back to this video, or you can tell them yourself. You should have enough knowledge now to build those portfolios yourself. So, but yeah, man, that's all for tonight. Remember to like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell. I appreciate you guys jumping on, and I will talk to you guys later.